Okay, so 3D glasses, kind of let you know, just finished seeing a 3D movie. Of course, it was the Hobbit in 3D. Did I see it in the 48 frames per second version? Probably not, because I live in the middle of nowhere. So, having seen it in 3D, I did like the 3D effects to it. I felt like, given the storyline and the nature of it, it probably really didn't need 3D. It did add a lot more depth, which was great. And then I see the theater I saw, and you could take out 3D glasses, and the movie was still very watchable. It didn't have anywhere near as much of the transitional framing that you see with other movies. Take off the glasses. Opening was a good way of kind of showing, the older Bilbo writing everything out, with Frodo coming in and being talked to. Good idea to kind of throw in some of the characters from the Lord of the Rings trilogy pretty much a decade ago, throwing a few characters in to kind of tie the two of them together. It didn't feel like it was forced. When they ended up having a large conversation, and you end up having, Gandalf, Saruman, Galadriel, if I make a mistake pronouncing his name, sorry, and Lord Elrond together, it actually felt like it made sense. The crux of this one, of course, is Bilbo being chosen to go on an adventure. An unexpected journey, if you will, to help the dwarfs reclaim their homeland. Good job on the background, nice job on the background of all the individual characters, as well as the major enemies that you see. And in this one, there are quite a few. They mentioned the massive dragon who has taken over where the dwarves live, who is the main villain. the white orc leader, who is a secondary villain, and they also even mentioned that there's a necromancer. So you actually have 3 different villains that get introduced. And the nice thing is, they all get some screen time to give you an idea of how impressive, how dangerous they truly are. A lot more gets focused towards the white orc than anything else. You do have a lot more of the traveling scenario. As one person put it, you kind of have like action sequence, travel exposition, action sequence, travel exposition, action sequence, which makes sense. When they show the map, it's okay. You gotta go from the Shire to the Lonely Mountain. It would be an impressive trek if they weren't occasionally being attacked by orcs, by wargs, if they weren't occasionally being, having their horses stolen by cave trolls and potentially being eaten by cave trolls. If they weren't accidentally end up making, a slight misturn and end up being the home of the elves. Or if they're at the same time actually being captured by another group of orcs and then to fight their way through it. So there's a lot of very large fight sequences. This movie has a fantastic job with an epic scale. It does a good job of setting up storylines, very much like with the Fellowship of the Ring, where they tell you what the main premise is, set up all the subplots, and they pretty much do a good job of just giving you a prologue as to what's going to happen in the next future films. Lots of people said that this one felt like it really didn't go anywhere. If you compare back to Fellowship of the Ring, which was more or less getting the team together, getting some of their backstory straightened out, throwing in bits and pieces of other characters, and then setting the stage for the next 2 movies, it makes lots of sense. I have heard this is either going to be, that it's more or less designed to be a trilogy. Definitely looking forward to it. This is still by far one of the best films of the year.